SQS is one of the integration service from AWS. So AWS has wide variety of integration services. So SQS, which is simple queue service, is one of the integration service. So SQS can be used to integrate between two different applications to share the data. So one application that can send the data or publish the data to the queue. On the other side, the second application which is subscribed to that queue, and it will get the messages that are published. So this is a major purpose of this SQS service. So the features of SQS. So basically SQS is a queuing service, so which will publish the messages, and there is a specific limitation on each message size in SQS, which is 256 KB of data. So if you are publishing a message which is greater than 256 KB to the SQS, it won't allow, so it will fail. So the maximum limitation is 256 KB, and this is one of the important interview questions. Okay, and SQS follows standard and first in first out approaches. So that there are two different ways that we can use the SQS. So if you want to send the data in a sequential, in the orderly manner, you can go for first in first out. And if you want to just publish the message and don't care about the order or duplicates, then we can go for standard. So the SQS message can be encrypted. So KMS is one of the AWS service which is key management service. So we can use this KMS and encrypt the message before publishing, and again we can decrypt the message that is received at the consumer end using the same KMS key. But in this scenario, you have to share the KMS key to both the parties, like the subscriber as well as the consumer. Otherwise, the consumer, if you don't have a KMS with consumer cannot decrypt the message, and it is going to be useless. So in the SQS, it acts like a pipe between two different applications. So the application which is publishing the message to the queue is called as producer, and the application which is receiving the message on the other end, that is called as consumer. So let's talk about the first in first out approach. So the first in first out approach, it follows a FIFO model, which is the message that is published to the queue first will be received first at the consumer end. So if you look at this particular example, so the messages 1, 2, 3 are published in this order, like first message published first, number 2 published second, number 3 published third. So on the receiving end, the first one that is received on the consumer end will be 1, and 2, then 3. This is order. So first in first out, it will preserve the published order. At the same time, since it is preserving the order, so it won't allow the duplicates in first in first out. And at the same time, there is a specific limitation on how many messages that can be published per second in first in first out, which is of 3000 messages. So the maximum message that can be published if you to the queue per second, if it is first in first out, that is the maximum is 3000 only. And this specific first in first out available in only specific regions. So since AWS has different regions like US East 1, US East 2, US West 1, West 2, and likewise there are different regions across the world. So this particular first in first out approach is available only in specific regions. So the next way is standard approach. So in this standard approach, if you see this particular example, 1, 2, 3 messages that we are publishing, and the receiving end we have 1, 2, 3 in the order, but there is no guarantee that the standard queue is going to allow the preserve the same order. So if you have a huge number of messages, too many number of messages that you are publishing, it might change the order of the messages that are published, and it will receive at the, when it is received at the end. And also at the same time, it will still allow the duplicates. So if you publish a message twice, it will still allow. And there is a advantage of standard messaging is you can publish unlimited messages per second. So there is no restriction on how many messages that you want to publish to the queue. And at the same time, standard queue is available across all the regions, across all the AWS regions. And so that means based on the, you no need to worry about the region from where you are connecting to this particular queue and publishing or receiving. So since it is already available across all the regions. So the disadvantage of SQS is it will allow the maximum of 256 KB message size only. So that is the biggest problem. Other than that, this is one of the important and useful integration service in AWS.